painting, and I just wanted to basically share a little bit of my painting process, because I think it's interesting. I think, I think about creating art, and sometimes you end up with the end product, but actually the creative process is, it's really dynamic, and so I thought it would be great if I could share that a little bit with you. So I'm going to share this process where I'm making these head paintings, and I've actually got like 6 paintings down here, and you can see, got that one, I got that one, I got that one, and in fact I've got this one. And so basically I started doing the last few that I've done, I actually have just been building up the surface of the painting before I even got into drawing the head. So for instance with this one, the last thing I did was actually put in the head or the face. And I first sort of just built up random abstract shapes, and which is the same as what I'm doing here with this one. Haven't put the face in there yet. Same with this one. And what I'm trying to do is just find some diversity in I like to call it the personality of the face. So basically the color and the line and the shape and the form and the application, the texture, all of that goes into describing a kind of personality in the end. So that's sort of what I've been doing with these, and one thing that I've been exploring is just doing, I want to say I like to have it not I guess random, in the sense that I'm also a stone carver and I carve natural stone, and the way that the color ends up being on the stone is sometimes it's just amazing, it's mesmerizing. And the interesting thing about it is it's not controlled, it's very natural and organic. And so I try and bring that idea into the painting process where you allow for mistakes to happen. It's more of a layering of a history of movement or attention. So I've been playing with that idea, and so I've been building up these different surfaces and keeping it loose and having fun with them. So I'm going to continue with that today. And so I got this one on the easel, so I might as well start with that one. And hopefully I can sort of shed some light on kind of what I'm thinking about as I'm doing these. So I'm quite satisfied with that generally. The purple is not really doing what I want it to do. The purple is kind of not really working. And that's another thing too, is you kind of just look at your painting, and some things, for some reason, it'll either seem like it's working or it won't. So, you kind of just got to trust that instinct too. And in this case, the purple is kind of dominating, and I actually wish that I had painted it gray. And so, I like the thin line aspect, but I wish that it was gray. I wish that it wasn't purple. And so, honestly, I could paint it gray right now, and maybe that's what I should do. Because keeping with the theme of random, I have some gray right here, and so I'm going to use it. Alright, so I'm going to paint these lines purple, these purple lines gray. Now I used tape before, which occasionally I will do, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and use it again. So this is pretty tedious, with these pieces, I've tried to be really loose, and now when you get your tape out and you start taping lines, it's almost like you want to make sure you don't, for me it's like I don't want to get caught up in like trying to get something too careful or too perfect, because for these I'm not interested in that. Like maybe at some point I will go down in that route and do that, and that might add a really cool dynamic to these pieces, but for right now it's not really important to me. So yet at the same time, as I'm sort of keeping it, allowing for that random energy, I'll explain that in a second, to happen, I like to balance that with with controlled energy or thought out energy, I guess you could say. There's this painter, and I found him on YouTube, and he was a Chinese doctor, and he talked about yin and yang, yin and yang, yang, yan, yin, yang, yin, yin and yang. So anyways, one of them is, the idea is like they're opposites. One is like controlled and one is like open, expressive, like no control, I guess you could say. That's how I understood it. So that's how I'm describing it right now. And that's kind of what I'm going for with these. Like, I like there to be control and articulation, but I'm finding like I'm really exploring this point of like what happens when you just let things happen without the controls, where you're allowing nature to interact how it's would naturally interact. So I just move around the studio and paint, and sometimes I have these on the floor, and so that was me moving around the studio. Sometimes I have these on the floor and I'm getting drips on them, and that's all adding to the surface, and that's kind of my approach with these ones right now. But usually I start out and it's my studio is a little more organized, but once I get into these, sometimes it gets a little dirty and messy, and that's, I'm kind of letting that happen. And I find that you just got to do them. You just got to do the paintings. Like, I don't know, like, sometimes I stress out if they're good or bad or whatever, but is that really the point? Like, if I'm worrying about that? Maybe it isn't, it depends on where you are. Okay, maybe I'll just shut up and do some gray. Okay, so I'm going to do light gray, because I don't want to compete with the black of the features of the face. So I'm just going to do a light gray. Now I'm thinking maybe color, like yellow, but nope, I'm going to go gray. And maybe I'll go super light. That could be good. But I want to keep it darker than the background. See, the background is this color here. So I kind of want to keep it darker than the background because I think that'll help it come forward. And right now, it's actually lighter than the background. So if I'm going to go lighter than the background, I need to go a lot lighter than the background. So it really, I don't know. It's kind of like spatial theory, how to create the illusion of space on a two-dimensional plane. And I have an idea of how to do that and different concepts and techniques that I use. And some of them might be accurate and work, and some of them might not be accurate at all. Like, I'm not like a totally studied artist. Like, some people, they're so refined in their ability to create the illusion of space on a two-dimensional plane. Like, I could learn a lot from them still. I've learned a lot too, but I'm also I still am not like ultra refined in that area. So here we go. See, now I can bring this even actually over top of this white section, which before the lines didn't go over that area. And I could even go over top of this nose if I wanted to, but I don't. So I'm not going to. And so that's kind of cool. So you see, this is very, very much controlled. Like, it's kind of slow, but I don't know, let's leave that. And then here, so this is the last. And I'm going to go right up over top. Okay. So the beauty about acrylic, one thing I like about acrylic is that it dries quickly. So, oh. So you can move with a certain amount of speed. Okay. All right. So this is what's fun about painting, is you do something and then you just look at it and see what happens and see how it looks. That looks awesome. That looks like, I like that. I like that you can see the purple in some areas. It's like now you got these like kind of sharp notes of purple. And the white, that works great. And actually, okay, I like that white. I want to add some more. Let's see. I should just have to think about this for a second. All right. So I like the white. And I'm going to add some more. And I'm going to keep the lines going, like the sharp lines. And so add one there. So, and now this is just like, this is just fun. You just kind of build a composition, right? So I've got these lines here. Now I'm adding one here. And it's like you're building a composition. Like there's that whole aspect of musicality in paintings. So it's like, where does this one go now for balance, right? Like, how many do I want to add? You know what I mean? I think maybe here. I don't want to mess with those lips. Like, I don't want to distract too much from the lips. So I don't want to like go over top of them or anything. Okay, let's try this. So the musicality in painting. So there's a bunch of artists that actually kind of explore that whole idea about painting. Honestly, I don't know a ton about art history. I'm thinking the name Wassily Kandinsky comes up, and he's like known as one of the first abstract painters, and I remember looking at his stuff and reading about his stuff being very much linked and connected to musicality, which is like, you know, what it's like a musical composition, like, so you sort of create your composition. It's kind of hard to talk and paint. And I'm going to add some more white to this. And I'm going to see if that pulls this line closer. So these ones are, because this line is also thicker. And so if it's fatter, it's like the illusion that it's closer, because you know, if things are closer, they're bigger, and as they go back, they get smaller. So this line out front is actually bigger than the lines that I put down earlier, so it should technically read as closer. And I'm also emphasizing that by adding more white to make it brighter. And we'll see if that does anything. So here now I'm applying knowledge, right, to this painting, where sometimes I'm just randomly doing things and even contradicting myself, which is okay too. Because as you can see, this is not a realistic painting. Okay. You know what I'm thinking? More lines. Honestly, I did not expect to be sitting here right now doing lines like this on this painting. And it's kind of interesting because it goes to show, like, you gotta just like trust the process. Or do what is opening up in the moment. Okay. And honestly, this could be like super boring, but that's what painting is sometimes. It's just like, sometimes it's tedious stuff. This one's going to defy the rules that I've had in place for all of these other lines, which totally extended across the entire face, where this one's going to go and it's going to stop right there. So what happens if you start doing that? Right? And so now that just opened up a whole another point of possibility where you can do these short ones, right? So the painting is evolving. The technique is evolving. And that's all I want to do also is I want to develop this technique. Develop my technique. And I think anybody that's doing art, that's all you want to do. You just want to develop your technique, your own unique way of doing things. And really, the best way to do that is to just start painting. See what happens. And of course, I borrow a lot of ideas and techniques from other artists that I see. We don't exist in a vacuum, and I don't think that we should try and not borrow from other artists. I think you might just drive yourself crazy if you tried that. And we mix some more paint, okay. It's funny because when I first started this, building up this surface, I wanted everything to be gray. I just wanted to work with grays. And so that whole idea is still part of what's here as I'm painting it, is this idea of just keeping it in the gray tonal range, value hue range, gray hues, I guess. Speaking of hues, did anyone watch the Canucks game last night? I used to play hockey, and so I still like to watch hockey, and one of the guys on the team that I like to watch has the last name Hughes. And he's quite a colorful character. This is a risky one, this one that's sort of cutting this face right down the center like this, because I don't know, just feels risky. Where this one, it seems pretty safe, pretty easy to create some balance with this line. So this is going to be like 30 minutes of work after this, and I might just stop after this once we do the big reveal. And just a bit of white. I'll cheat a little bit and just do one line right there. No, I'm not going to cheat. Anyways, that's looking pretty cool. I'm going to stop the video right there. I might end up doing some more lines. I might not. But for now, I'm just going to go check on my potatoes because they're in the oven. Hi, everybody. I am back at the easel with working on this futuristic looking guy. And so I'm just going to continue with more lines. But I thought that I would actually start, see if you've noticed so far, I haven't put any lines over this shape or over that shape or over that shape. So that means all of these lines are technically behind these shapes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start bringing the lines over top of these shapes, and I think that's going to like lock those shapes down more into the face. Plus, it's also something that I haven't done yet, and so I'm going to try it out. So, I like that. I'm actually going to keep this one out here. Okay. It's interesting now because now I'm thinking about I was thinking about adding some clouds. Because these almost looked like clouds when I looked at it before, and I was like, maybe I could add some clouds back here. But I'm not totally sold on it because I'm not. And I might just actually leave it as is. It's hard to say. We'll find out. We'll find out. All right. All right, I'm going to do something here. This may or may not work. You know what? There. Okay. All right. Hi, Larry. Got a dog visiting me. Okay. Whoa. So this is paint. It says made in the USA. It's like 90 cents. It was 90 cents for this thing. I'm not too particular like with these paintings in terms of using the best paint, although I prefer to use high quality paint. Sometimes you can get different things happening with cheaper, inexpensive paints that don't happen with high quality paints. So let's go. Go with the cerulean blue hue. This is a little bit of a higher quality. So here I am building my composition. Doesn't have that pop that I want. Close enough. And here I'm going to honor the outline. That I put in of the face. It's kind of like you're setting up your own rules, and then you can either keep them or break them. So this is kind of working. We'll see here. I'm going to just keep it like that for now. All right. That's kind of interesting, like I'm just kind of using color and balancing the composition, and it kind of happens quickly, and you just kind of see, okay, I need some pink here, and then you balance it out with some blue, and then you need some blue over there. And so that's what you do. Let's see how this works. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, I mean, I need something right there. I mean, seriously? Gotta put something right there. Oh. I'm tempted to go purple. See, painting is kind of like, it's kind of like you're like a neurotic thing where you do something and then it's like you feel a compulsion to like fix it or like do something else to balance it. And so you like enter these moments or sequences of like chaos where you're kind of fixing and balancing, and then it kind of settles down a little bit, or you settle down a bit and then you stop. But I definitely need something there. I don't know if I should go pink or blue, so I'll just try one, see what happens. Or purple. You know, I shouldn't overthink it, right? So, without overthinking, I think I will go pink. And as you can see, these lines have extended out into the background, so I'm just kind of doing some stuff, and I thought you might like to see it. Because honestly, I wanted to share as much of this process as possible, and just sort of create some videos and share some stuff. And so I started with this super dark purple, but I didn't like it. So I changed it to where I'm changing it to a light purple. Which I like much better. Using my right hand a little bit. Whoops. That was a mistake. It's interesting. It's almost like as if it's got a little more body, like substance to it. Where before it was like almost more transparent, like you could see through it. It wasn't as solid, and it's like now it seems as if it's solidifying a bit more. It has a little more weight. Which is pretty cool. And just do one more thing here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna leave it now for tonight, and yeah, I kind of was not expecting that at all. So it's that's one of the things that I like about these paintings is the point is you're not supposed to know what's gonna happen. You kind of walk into the darkness and kind of take it step by step. Okay, thanks.